morning, student. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
The slide is visible, na?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So in last class, I think we have started this natural evolution. Okay. And suddenly we have to stop at that time. Now, natural or biological evolution, it is the process of emergence of higher and complex life problems from simpler and primordial and life forms over millions of years. Okay. So we know that there is a evolution theory, which was basically invented by Charles Darwin. So the scientific theory of evolution was proposed by Charles Darwin in 1859 through his celebrated work entitled The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. Now, Darwin's theory had a great impact on humanity. Okay, we have seen that how this human or any species in this world, how they have evolved through various stages. Okay, the mechanism nature employs to realize evolution is called a natural selection. And the basis of natural selection is the principle of survival of the fittest, a phrase coined by the Herbert Spencer. So last class, we have just discussed this point. Okay, just I will go through it because otherwise the continuity will be lost. So Darwin's theory of evolution is based on three observations. A species on Earth in general produce much higher number of offspring than possibly can survive. Second, the individual members of a species possess various traits resulting in varied probabilities of survival and reproduction. And third one is the children inherit the traits of their parents. So these are the basically theory of evolution. These are the basic or the pillar of the theory of evolution. So that we have discussed in last class. So in a certain environment, individuals having traits favorable to live in that environment have higher chance of survival. And that if the situation or the environment is favorable, then only the particular offspring will survive in this particular world. Otherwise, that will not survive. It will be eliminated from the system. So on the other hand, individuals lacking such traits are likely to die earlier and thereby have less opportunity to have children. This is the natural selection. So natural selection means that a particular offspring should have all the required traits which should actually make that particular offspring to survive in this particular world. And if the situation is favorable, then only it will survive. Otherwise, it will die. So the effect of natural selection is the gradual increase in the relative number of individuals who are better adapted to survive and reproduce in a certain environment. The individuals who lack such traits become scarce over successive generation and eventually die out. The phenomena of mutation helps to introduce a random radical change in a species. So here there is a concept of mutation, because see, every generation we can understand that it can be any species. It can be any species. Okay, in this world there are n number of species are available, but we can understand from the let us say two cows are there. Okay, but when we see their closely, we observe their characteristic remains same, but they look, when we see their physical feature, they will be something different. Okay, so a similar kind of thing we can observe also the human characteristic. Everyone is having some different their looks and all. That depends on the how these looks are different, because we are all human. The basic thing is it is we have certain during the process of evolution. So there is certain mutation is taking place. That means the exchange of genes or the exchange of chromosome. So we'll see that detailed process. Okay, because this is a some kind of biological concept has been incorporated in this technique. So we'll see that how this mutation is taking place in the within the chromosome, and due to that there is some change in the characteristic of the species. So if the change is favorable for survival, then it is likely to continue in subsequent generation. Otherwise, it extinguishes in the process of natural selection. So that means if it is favorable, if the whatever changes in their if the mutation occurs, and after the mutation, if there is any change in the next offspring, so those offspring has to survive in the particular environment. If the situation is favorable, then it will survive. Otherwise, it will extinguish in the process of natural selection. This point is clear. Any confusion till now? Any confusion? Please tell me.
No, sir.
Fine.
No, sir.
This is a little bit theoretical thing, but we need to understand. This is basically a subcomputing technique. It has some similarity with the biological process. So first we have to understand that what is this biological process, that is the heredity or in the evolutionary theory, and then we'll correlate with the actual subcomputing algorithms. So the traits of an individual are in, now we'll start what is chromosome. Okay, so chromosome, any characteristic of any species, it is basically embedded in their chromosome. Okay, so what is that chromosome? We'll understand, we'll recall it. You actually, all of you have understood, means know this theory in your biology. Okay, when you have studied in your maybe class 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the traits of an individual are encoded and stored in each cell with the help of a structure called a chromosome. For example, there are 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes in human cells. So this is it is a common characteristic of any human. We have 23 pairs of the or 46 chromosomes in a. Okay, so chromosomes are long strands of genes, and the genes are made up of two long strands of DNA in a double helix structures. So if we see the structure of this chromosome, it is like a double helix structure. Okay, so and we have this all the genes within these chromosomes. Okay, and that is basically actually encoding all the characteristic of the human or maybe the any species. Okay, roughly speaking, a gene may be thought of as encoding a trait, color of eye, the shape of the leaves, etc. Means maybe we can understand that. Let us say all the features of the maybe human being or any species in this world, everything is it is encoded. It is encoded in the basically chromosome. Okay, somebody let us say eye is black, somebody's eyes is let us say maybe brown or something like that. There is some difference in the human characteristic, their features, their look wise, or their appearance, everything. It is different. It is differing from their basically within the DNA structure or the chromosome structure, which is actually giving rise to this kind of difference of the their all the characteristic which they possess. So the idea of chromosome as an encoded pattern of individual trait is used in genetic algorithm. So we'll understand that what is genetic algorithm. We are actually, maybe we'll enter into this particular domain gradually. We'll take the similarity, what is there in the biological evolutionary theory, and those concepts, it is actually, it is animated, or it is basically copied from there, and those concepts are basically implemented in the soft computation algorithm, and one of them, that is the basic computation algorithm, that is known as the genetic algorithm. So in each GS, each feasible solution is of a given optimization problem is encoded as a string of bits or characters, etc. So in genetic algorithm, it is a binary coded algorithm. Okay, so it is means we have a kind of a bit structure. Okay, a bit structure means every bit we have certain information. Okay, and those informations are basically encoded. So there will be the process of encoding and there will be a process of decoding. We'll see that in detail, that how to encode and how to decode those things. But everything, every chromosome representation, it should be basically encoded within the your chromosome, and when we decode it, we'll get the actual information. So the GA process consists of processing a number of such chromosomes over successive generations and then mapping the chromosomes returned by the GA to its encoded solution. So that means the genetic algorithm, it consists of such chromosomes. There will be a number of chromosomes will be there, and we'll map all those chromosomes and we'll decode it, we'll get this particular solution of that particular characteristic. Now, what is crossover? So in this particular section, we'll need to understand what is crossover. The concept of mutation we have understood that what is the mutation. In mutation, we have to understand that, let us say there is a structure of the bit. Okay, there is a structure of bit. Okay, means the chromosome structure is there. Now let me just connect that thing so we'll be able to understand this. Just a minute. Sorry, just a minute. Okay. Now let us say we will understand this thing. So there is a concept of mutation. So mutation, maybe let us say it is a 8-bit structure. That structure of the chromosome is 8-bit. Okay, means it is 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 1. For example, this is the structure of your chromosome. Okay, this is the structure of your chromosome. Okay, now let us say there is a mutation has occurred. So what will happen? Let us say there is a mutation has occurred in this particular 4th bit. This 4th bit is mutated. What is the concept? The concept is this 1 will become 0 and remaining bits will remain same. So that means this will be 0 0 1 0 1. Suppose that there is a mutation has occurred at this particular bit. So what will be the structure? Next structure 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 and then 1. Is it clear how this mutation has occurred?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you encode it, so your encoding structure means it is a binary structure. Now if you decode it, so decoding means what? Whatever things it is present here, you need to convert this thing in your, let us say, decimal value. You need to convert it in your decimal. Okay, so whatever value it will come, so you will get it. So you see here, whatever the decimal value, here you will get some different decimal value. Yes or no? This will be something different decimal value because your bit structure gets changed here from 1 to 0. And from here 1 to 0. So that means there is a change in the bit structure. So that due to the mutation, what will happen? The traits, the characteristic of the offspring, it is changing from generation to generation. So this is, let us say, this is your first generation, this is your second generation, and this is your third generation. So every generation, there is a change in the characteristic of the chromosome due to the mutation. And due to this mutation, what will happen? That there will be a sudden change in the offspring. Okay, and that offspring will have some different characteristic. The process of this mutation is clear. Process of mutation. Then I will discuss the crossover. Any doubt on this mutation?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll start this, let us say, crossover. Let me erase this. Now in the crossover process, what will happen? You see, there are when, let us say, in a first generation, this is a first generation. So the structure of the bit structure is, let us say, 1 0 1 1 1, and then all are 1. Let us say 3 3 6. These are 1. Okay. So there are let us say there are two chromosomes, which is basically having it is, let us say, they are making the crossover. Okay. So what will now, let us say, there is a crossover occurs between this particular bit to this particular bit. Okay. So what will happen? What will happen? You see, if there is a crossover, so that means the resultant generation will be something like this. So what will happen? Crossover means this will come here and this will go here. So the changes will be, this will be 1 1, means these particular bits will be copied here in the first population. So this will be 0, then 1 1 1 1, and in the second case it will be 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 1. So you see, this is the first and this is the second chromosome. Now in the second generation, this is the generation 2. This is the generation 2. So generations 2, the characteristic becomes, this is the first chromosome and this is your second chromosome. Okay. So that means the structure gets changed due to the, let us say, this crossover process. Is it clear how this crossover will occur?
Sir, repeat again, sir.
So in any crossover process, what we'll do, this is a structure of the bit structure of, let's say, 8-bit structure. Okay, any 8-bit structure for the first chromosome, and this is the second chromosome. Now these two chromosomes are actually mating for the next generation. So what will happen? When there will be a crossover, the crossover means there will be change of, basically there will be change of the bits. There will be bit exchange. Okay, so from second bit to fourth bit, there is a change of bits. Okay, so what will happen? Whatever from second to fourth, whatever bit actually information it is there in the second chromosome, it will be copied in the first chromosome. So in the next generation, you see what will happen. This will be 1 and this is 1 0 0. This is copied here, and remaining things are we have copied here. Remaining things we have copied here. Now in the second chromosome, when it is going to the second generation, so what will happen? The first one will keep as it is. This is we have kept as it is. Now this information we have copied here. This information it is copied here. So this is 0 1 1, and remaining bits, whatever it was there for the second chromosome, we have kept that is same. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll understand what is there. in the theory. So crossover is a genetic operation. It is also a genetic operation which results of genetic material between two chromosomes. So there will be basically exchange of the genetic information. So we have seen that there is a exchange has occurred from one chromosome to other chromosome. In biological world, crossover occurs when the reproductive cells of the parents unite to form a zygote. So it can be considered to be a string operation where two similar strings of the same length swap partial contiguous contents. So we have seen there is a change in the information of the basically bits, okay, from between the two chromosomes when there is a let us say it is a next generation has to be evolved. So at that point of time, there is a change of the bit information. So crossover is a mechanism to ensure reshuffle of the traits of the parents in their children. So crossover, when there is a crossover, due to that crossover, what will happen? We have seen that whatever it was trait in the trait means the characteristic. Whatever characteristic it was present in the parents, so the characteristic gets changed. Because if you see I will just share that previous slide. So you see, this is your parents. This is the parents. Okay. Now these are the offsprings. So when there is offspring, there is a change in the bit information, and due to that, whatever the characteristic it was there in the parents, there will be slight change in the offspring, and that's why we can see there is every human, they are having their individual characteristic. Okay, so similarly about the other species also, due to this particular change in the crossover process. Now next is the mutation. So in genetics, a gene mutation is a permanent change that may occur in the DNA sequence constituting a gene. So mutation, it is a kind of a permanent change. Okay, this is a kind of permanent change which let us say it will continue generation by generation, something like that. Okay, so such changes permanently alter the gene and thereby bring about variation in the lineage of a living organism. Okay, in biological sense, mutation can occur in one of the two following ways: inherited from parents through crossover, or acquired by an individual during its lifetime due to altered environment or habits of individuals or some unforeseen circumstances like radioactive or cosmic radiation. Okay, so there may be the mutation of any species can occur in biological terms. From maybe there may be some different reasons, but first reason is that it can inherit from its parents, or it can acquire information from the individual by, if let us say if it is existing in an environment where there is certain unforeseen changes, and due to that it got a permanent change. Okay, so mutation is the main vehicle of evolving new species from old ones. So from the old species, the new species can be evolved with the help of this mutation process only. So mutation is very, very important process. So through which there will be basically the new population or new species can be evolved. Now, next we'll understand this genetic algorithm process in detail. Okay, so we have understood a little bit about the biological terms. What is chromosome? What is crossover? What is mutation? Okay, these basic terms we have understood, and how those biological process, how those biological terms it is implemented in this particular soft computation algorithm, we'll see in detail. Okay, see, in soft computation algorithm, we have to understand every algorithm, it has some mimicry of the existing some biological features. Okay, there are a lot of algorithms are there, and they are basically doing the let us say they are imitating the behavior of those species with and that is actually implemented in the algorithm. So we'll see in detail. This is the first algorithm we'll understand in detail. So computationally, GA is a maximization process, but here I will tell you that not only you can do the maximization, you can do the minimization also, because any problem, any kind of problem which deals with the minimization also, GA can handle. Okay. So the problem it addresses usually has a very large search space with probable multiple local maxima inside it. So let us say we are considering a maximization problem. Okay, maximization problem means, let us say fx equal to x square, and x is it is varying between 0 to 5. So from the problem, you can understand that the maximum value, it should be equal to 25, because if x equal to 5, we'll get the maximum value, that is fx will be equal to 25. But if the problem nature is complex, at that point of time, it will be very difficult to calculate those things. So we need to take, we have to take help of this kind of computing optimization algorithm. So within the search space, what is your search space? In this case, it is from the particularly for the variable, it is from 0 to 5, and your solution, it is heading from 0 to 25. So it may so happen that the solution may stack up at a point, let us say 23.25. You want to get actually fx equal to 25, because if x is varying from 0 to 5, so your maximum value should be 25, but you are not getting. When you are running this algorithm in the computer, so after running that particular problem, you are getting that answer is 23.25. That means the problem is not actually reaching to the global optima. It has stuck up into a particularly local optima. Okay, so it has stuck up in a local optima, so we need to retune it. So then only we'll be able to get the actual solution. So the GA process has to ensure that it is not trapped at local maxima, so that at the end of the process, it may find the global maximum. So always we should try, but in the concept, if let us say the global maxima, global minima, there are many things which we understand, but really, truly speaking, when we know the actual solution, and if that particular solution is reaching to that particular value, then we can say it has reached to the global maximum. Okay. Otherwise, every algorithm, it has some limitation. We cannot say this algorithm is very, very best, this algorithm is very good. Okay. But yes, there are some performance improvement in over the years and the subcomputation algorithms. There are many algorithms, n number of algorithms are there, and you can take help of those algorithms, and through that you can actually implement in your engineering problems, and you can solve those problems with the help of this subcomputation technique. Even if the global maxima is not returned, we may expect a close approximation of it as the outcome of the GA process. So I have told you that you may not get 25. You are getting, let us say, 24.75. It is close to 25. There is a difference of 0.25. We can say that it has reached to near to the global optima, but it has not actually reached the global optima. Okay, so that is the basically the problem. To achieve this, GA works on a set, perhaps the suboptimal to the given problem instance, and evolves it through a number of generations. So if through the number of generations, if we run that particular process, then we will be able to overcome the local optima, and we'll be able to reach the global optima. So the evolution process stops when some predefined termination condition is satisfied. So when we'll stop this algorithm? When? So because if we reiterate, and reiterate, if let us say for this particular problem, fx equal to x square and x is varying between 0 to 5. So after, let's say, how much time will process this algorithm? So let us say if we are reaching to this particular value 25, fx equal to 25, then we'll stop. So then we'll understand that particular algorithm has reached to the global optima. So that means if we further exceed that particular thing, then it will be basically a wastage of the computational time, wastage of the computational process, everything. Okay, so that is not desirable. So at each intermediate stage, the old generation is replaced by the new generation. So that is the basically thing. We'll see that in detail how when we'll actually do this thing. So the old generation, because you see, if I share this particular slide, okay. So let us say these are the two basically mating pools. So this is the first chromosome. This is the second chromosome. But in the next generation, you see the characteristic it gets changed. So that means when in case of offspring, the characteristic, their traits are basically new, and every generation it has got a new kind of characteristic, new kind of features, which will actually yield to reach the global optima. Okay, so we'll see how it will happen in a step-by-step process. So the individuals of the population of a generations are processed with the help of a number of GA operators in such a way that the quality of the new generations in general is improved in comparison with the old generation. So with the help of this particular process, we'll see in that in every generation, every population, when we will proceed, we'll see that the quality of the solution in the new generation, it is improved compared with the previous one. Okay, so if we are not improving, so what will happen? We'll not be able to reach the optimum value. Okay, so the solution quality should be such that whatever we are actually observing in the solution, so those solutions should be a better one than the previous generation. So there is a generation by generation, the solution should be a better one. So in this way, we obtain better and better solution as the search proceeds until the end of the search, when we expect the best or near best solution will be returned by the GA process. So that means when we reach the actual global optimum value, then we can say that the solution has reached to the optimum value or the global optimum value. So now the outline of the process. So what are the things we have just now discussed? So that is basically with the help of some outline, it is written here. So first step is the initialize the population. So okay, that is the first stage, that is how many population you want to call. Okay, so call this the current population. So we have to we for every this optimization problem, first we have to initialize what is the number of population. So let us say you can choose 10 population, you can choose 30 population, you can choose 50 population. Now repeat step 3 through step 5 till termination condition is satisfied. So we'll repeat this step 3 to step 5 till the time we actually achieve the global optimum. So first step is the apply selection operation on the current population to obtain the mating pool. So we have to select the which particular chromosomes will be actually appear for the mating pool. Now step 4 is the apply crossover and the mutation operators on the mating pool to generate the new population. So there will be now the crossover and the mutation operation. In that case, we'll apply that those population who are actually coming into the mating pool to actually achieve or to generate the new population in the next generation. Now step 5. So these are the basically steps. There will be a mathematical things which will actually explain in detail. We are at this particular domain. Now step 5 is the replace the current population by the new population. So we have to understand that when we have a new generation, new population is evolved. So we'll forget about the old, because the offspring or the, let us say, the next generation, which will have a better kind of traits, better kind of characteristic from the old one. That means from the parents, they will inherit it, and we will assume that the characteristic, whatever is obtained in the offspring, that is better than the parents. So we'll forget about that particular population. We'll deal with the new population, that is, we'll deal with the offsprings only. So return the best solution of the current population. Okay, then finally, if we have achieved the final solution, then we'll understand that yes, we have reached the final solution of the base solution. Now there are certain features associated with GA. Okay, what are the things we first? These are the basic things we'll understand, that what are the things required while we'll actually write any optimization algorithm, and in this case it is GA. So GA, there are certain features we need to understand those things. So first is the chromosome. So chromosomes, we know that basically all the information of the particular offspring or the, let us say, parents. So those information, it will be stored in the chromosome in form of bit structure. It will be in the form of bit structure. So those bit structure, basically it is encoded structure. Now, if we decode it, then we'll get the actually the required information of the particular chromosome. Now, second is the procedures to encode a solution as a chromosome and procedure to decode a chromosome to the corresponding solution. So if there is a solution, so when we actually want to implement in GA, then we need to first encode it. So when we encode it, it will be like a bit structure. It will be a bit structure. So those bit information will be stored in the chromosome. Now, let us say, with the help of bit structure, we can actually do the operation of the, let us say, crossover. Then we can do the mutation. So those operations we can do with the bit structure, because bit structure will allow to perform those operations. But after that, when there is a new offspring, it is created. then we need to again decode it, because unless we decode it, we don't know that what is the change in the characteristic it has happened during this operation. So we need to decode it. So when we decode it, understand that yes, there is the solution is changed and the offspring has some new characteristic and the better solution, better characteristic. So those solutions again, it is coming into the next generation for the further process. Now, third is a fitness function to evaluate each solution, that is each chromosome. See, what is the fitness function? We have to understand clearly. Fitness means there is a, when we run this particular algorithm, what actually we are judging. So let us say the problem is fx equal to x squared. Now x is varying between 0 to 5. Now in this case, what is the fitness function? Anyone can tell what should be the fitness function? Just guess. I will not mind that if you tell something wrong.
Sir, 25.
25, it is a digit, okay, but function. What is the function? Fitness function. You are right, but I am asking for the function. That is a value. Anyone? Any guess? Any guess? So from where you are getting this 25?
Fx equal to x square.
Correct.
Put fx equal.
Correct. Correct. So fx equal to x square is your fitness function. Actually, for this particular mathematical problem, the parameter which will actually guide the performance of this problem, it is the fx equal to x square. The function itself, it is the fitness function of your problem. That you have to understand. Okay, you are right. 25 should be the final answer. But fx equal to x square, that is your fitness function, which you are actually going to evaluate, and then you should get the 25. That is your final solution. So here it is very easy because we know x is varying between 0 to 5. But if the problem is, let us say fx equal to sine x plus log x plus e to the power x plus 2 cos x to the power 5. So is it possible to, if the x is varying between 0 to 5, can anyone say with a just roughly calculating that thing? It is not possible. We need to apply something. So that means when the problem statement, it becomes a complex one, at that time it will be very difficult to tell with the help of a simple mathematical calculation. We need to take a help of some kind of sub-computational algorithm, some kind of mathematical techniques through which we'll be able to tell, yes, for this particular problem, this will be the maximum value and this will be the minimum value. Now, next is the population size. So when we are dealing with this kind of problem, we need to say that, see, how many population you want to choose. So let us say, for example, I am just giving one example. Let us say a human generation. So any human being. So that particular human being, he or she has evolved from a particular, let us say, generation. So now let us go back for, let us say, 20 generation. So your population size now becomes, it is 20. So when we are dealing that particular problem with 20 population, means that particular human being, if we particularly, let us say, and each human being, they are having individual chromosome characteristic, okay, and they have inherited those characteristics from their parents, okay. Now if we understand that what was the chromosome, let us say chromosome characteristic, let us say 20 population before, okay, that is 20 generation before. So this 20 is your population size. So here also it is the same way we are actually imitating the human, or let us say the evolutionary process. We are actually imitating the evolutionary process, and we want to show that yes, human evolutionary process or any species evolutionary process can be animated with the help of this particular algorithm. Now next is the initial population. So we need to first declare that what is our initial population, what is the chromosome structure of the initial population, because unless and until we know that this is my first generation, this is the structure of my first generation, we cannot do anything. So first of all, we need to declare that these are our first population and their chromosome characteristic are this. Now next is the mating pool, the set of chromosomes selected from the current population will generate the new population of the offspring. Okay, so we need to select randomly. We have to select that which mating pool will be actually appear for the generation of the next offspring. So in that case, that particular mating pool will subjected to the various operation. That is basically GA apparatus. So GA apparatus, it is actually subjected to various kind of operation like selection. There may be crossover, there may be mutation. So you'll understand in detail that bit by bit structure. I will tell you in detail because we will basically go step by step. Will not jump here and there. So you will understand that how to do this thing, how this bit structure is implemented, and how it is actually implemented in the problem. Now, various GA parameters like crossover probability, mutation probability, population size, those has to be defined. So there is a certain guideline that to choose that what should be the crossover probability and what should be the mutation probability and what should be the population size. So there is some guideline, and we'll see that those parameters has to be defined initially so that we can proceed with the GA algorithm or GA implementation of the GA algorithm in any mathematical problem. Then finally, the termination condition. So how many times we'll repeat this process, whether it is 100 cycles or it is 200 cycles, it is 500 cycles. We need to define that how many times this repetitive process will basically will occur, and so the computer, it will actually calculate that many times, that how many times the process has to be repeated. Okay. Any doubt up to this? Any doubt? Anyone? Anyone has any doubt? Please tell me. Please tell me. Any doubt? Why?
No, sir.
It is clear, na? So now I will actually stop here and I will give you. Okay, just a minute. I need to share your attendance. Just a minute. So I'll share your attendance. So all of you have got the lecture notes of the previous classes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And also the videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, just a minute. I'll share now. So is it visible? QR code? QR code is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please put your attendance now. So your practical examination for 5th semester, it will be held on Wednesday. Have you got this information?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So it will be, I think today you will get it, okay, from your HOD, because it is decided that online practical exam will be held on Wednesday, I think, for the 5th semester, and 3rd semester it will be on Thursday. Okay, so your classes will be suspended during the morning time. Afternoon, there will be regular classes. That will be online exams. Viva Voce, that will be basically Viva Voce. Okay, is it over? Is it over? Attendance?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
Anyone left to put their attendance? No. Okay. Thank you. Then I'll stop share this thing. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you. I'll close this meeting now.